Hey, welcome to Bikes, Boats, and Bivouacs. Today we're going to talk about the year that just finished, 2020, where we're headed in 2021. But first, we got some stickers to put on. Okay, so here's our collection, and I did pick up one more sticker. Steve Turtle, who's a work camper. We met him when we were camping at the Millbridge Village Camp Resort down Lancaster County, and he was gracious enough to give me a sticker, so we're gonna add it to our collections. And I think it's gonna look good right there. If you want your channel recognized on our rig, just send me a sticker. The other thing I wanted to add is our map. And of course, that's a way to, remember all the states that you have been to. Now, a lot of people do it a lot of different ways. If you've ever been in that state, you drove through that state, you were at that state years ago. But I'm using the Travels with Delaney method, that the rig that you're in, or the rig that the map is on, had to have spent at least one night in that state. But let's put that sticker on and see where we've been. So here it is. About 15 bucks or so for this. And you notice it's gonna look pretty good right there. Okay. So here we go. Put it right there, I think. We get this top set first. So we got our map on, it's in good shape, it looks pretty good. If you watched the video on our 2020 plans, you know we would have filled all this up. But COVID changed that. So we're gonna add the states that we've been in with the camper. I think we did either 12 or 14, maybe 13, somewhere between 12 and 14 camping trips since we bought it in September of last year. So 12 to 14 a year, not bad for weekend warriors. And of course in the winter time we put it away. So first up, Pennsylvania. Of course, we live there, and we have an awful lot of campgrounds within a 100-mile radius of us. So we're gonna fill in Pennsylvania. So there's Pennsylvania. If you watch the videos, you know we went down to Elk Neck State Park, which is in Maryland. And that's about a 2-hour drive from the house. Not too bad. So we can add Maryland to our map. And that is how Maryland looks. Runs all the way along the bottom of Pennsylvania towards Hagerstown and then to West Virginia. And then this over here is the eastern shore. You see little bitty Delaware right there. We'll see what we got planned for next year. Hopefully COVID won't change our plans. We want to review where we went in 2020, how our plans have changed due to COVID, and then what you can expect in 2021. So Marie, the first place we went in 2020.
We made it to Key West in January.
So we were down there January 8th to the 12th. It was very windy when we were down there, so we didn't get to do a lot of water sports. But we're really glad we got down there because 2 months later, when COVID hit, everything was shut down. So we did make our Key West trip in January. I did plan on boondocking at Cabela's to test out the camper after it was winterized, but Cabela's was closed to all operations, so we couldn't do that in March. So in April we had plans to go to the KOA and Lazy K, and COVID shut all that down. The state parks canceled our trips in May to Gifford Pinchot and French Creek. And then in June, there's a big trip planned in June. The Captain and Colonel's Excellent Adventure. We were taking the KZ 180TH all the way to Key West for a music festival. And we found out that whole festival was canceled due to the pandemic. So the whole trip down there got canceled, and that's why there's not many states colored in on our sign here. So what we decided to do in June was, camp nearby.
Yeah.
It was all we could do based on the restrictions. Where was the first place we went, Marie, in June?
The KOA in Allentown.
And that was, we tested out the system. That was a full hookup campsite, so we ran everything and made sure we had all the parts for the sewer system, etc. Our next trip in June,
we went to Hickory Run.
Hickory Run State Park. Now we also went to Hickory Run Campground a little later, but this was Hickory Run State Park. It was an hour and a half north of where we live in Whitehaven, Pennsylvania, and this was a great state park. It was full hookup campsite. It was an old cemetery we toured. Waterfalls, just a really nice time. Then our next trip was one where we didn't have a sewer hookup, and it was close by. Where were we headed?
Lazy K.
So Lazy K is in Bechtelsville, about 20 minutes away. It's right around the corner from where I grew up as a kid. And there we had water and electric, but not sewer. So we got to use the dump station, make sure we had all the parts for that. And we had Cal and our grandson with us, so we did a little fishing on the pond. It was a really nice campground that they're expanding. They're adding 55 sites to it. So that was a nice trip. And then we headed up towards Swatara State Park near Pine Grove. So where did we stay, Marie?
Twin Grove Campground.
So Twin Grove Campground is literally across the street from Swatara State Park. Swatara State Park doesn't have any camping available. And this was a true camp resort. Remember, it had Ferris wheel. And,
that was a cool one.
Yeah.
Antique stuff.
Yeah, Ferris wheel, indoor merry-go-round, putt-putt golf, disc golf. It was a really, really nice park. Had a restaurant, a pool, water slides. Really nice place. And on that trip, we went kayaking down to Swatara Creek.
It was fun.
So, again, a really nice trip to Twin Grove. So that was fun. In July, I had plans to go for a motorcycle ride out to Ohio, and COVID canceled all that. But we did get one camping trip in July. Where'd we head?
Millbridge Village Camp Resort.
And down there was an old grist mill at the campsite that was right on the Peckway Creek. We had, I think, the best site at the campground.
We did. We paid the most for that, right?
No?
No.
Well, yeah, that was, but we got the discount there, the Good Sam discount, so it was 10%.
That was good.
But we were at Site 14, right on the Peckway Creek, and there was another campground where we took the motorcycle with us. We took a nice ride on the switchback over to the Strasburg, the town of Strasburg, where the railroad is, and the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum exists. And then we also took the kayaks and went kayaking down the Peckway Creek from Millbridge Village Camp Resort to Katie's Kitchen on Route 896. So that was a great trip. And we met Steve Turtle there, who is a work camper, has a nice channel that talks about all the things associated with work camping. And then August came along, and I had a trip planned for Ohio that I had to cancel because of COVID. So we decided to stay in Pennsylvania, and we were supposed to go to Adventure Bound at the Wandering Wagner camp out. But because of the COVID thing, we had to change those plans. So Adventure Bound has a campground called Eagles Peak right out west of us, maybe 20 miles. So we went there. So at Eagles Peak, it's really like a resort. There's a lot to do for kids. If you have kids, this is a great place to go. And they have sites that are open and sites in the woods. So I did like that. We did get a wooded site, and our grandson joined us on this trip. And what did he love about it?
The new thing with Callan was him being able to go down the slides, and he did try a tunnel slide, so that was really exciting for him.
So Eagles Peak has this giant water slide park with probably 15 water slides, and he wanted to spend every minute on those slides. A really nice park. We enjoyed our time there. And then we went with Tim and Dawn Hoffman to another campground down in Lancaster County. Do you remember that one?
The Lake in the Woods.
So Lake and Wood Campground in Lancaster is beautiful. Probably my favorite private campground of the year. Just a really nice place. Again, it had open and wooded campsites. A lot to do. They had a pool, a splash pool. The pool was indoor, outdoor. Marie started playing shuffleboard there and enjoyed shuffleboard. They have a 6-acre lake. So just a really nice place. And then we went to the other Hickory Run. So Hickory Run Campground in Denver, Pennsylvania. And Callan joined us on this trip. We did camp with the Hoffmans and their whole crew. And what did you think about the Hickory Run Campground?
Well, there was animals in the pasture, like goats and horses, that the visitors could go up and feed and pet, and that was an attraction for Callan. And swimming, the pool was nice as well. It was a hot day.
And the sites were large. You know, these sites were water and electric, so it was a dump station campground, or at least the section we were in. And Callan got to ride a little electric car, and we got to run the radio control cars there. So it was a really nice place. They had live music there, and a store and some ponds to fish on. And then we were joined by our son and daughter-in-law on Labor Day weekend, right on the Susquehanna River.
The name was Ferryboat Campground.
And that place was great. Our site was right on the water. What'd you like about the campsites?
Well, it was right where we could watch the boats and the kayaking taking place, the people going in and out of the water.
Harley.
And the ferry boat was coming across, and the people were disembarking. And of course, we got to celebrate our son's 36th birthday on the Susquehanna River.
So one of the main attractions there is the river. So we took 4 kayaks with us and did multiple kayaking trips on the Susquehanna River. There were swings that you could sit on and watch the activities on the river. They had a nice camp store, an ice cream shop, a band playing at night, and there was a big crew that we were camping with, and it was just a really, really enjoyable time. And then we decided to go to another state park. Remember the name of that one?
Promised Land State Park.
So Promised Land State Park has a couple different lakes, a lot to do, and they do have multiple campgrounds, some with full hookup, some primitive, some just electric. We had a water and electric, no, we just had an electric site. So when we got there, we filled up the water tank in the camper. That was our first time camping without a water hookup. This camper holds 38 gallons of fresh water and has around 20 to 25 gallon gray and black tanks. So for the weekend, we were fine. We had plenty of water left over. And we took the kayaks on this one and did a nice kayaking trip. It got really cold there at nighttime. It was down into the 30s. So we got to test the heater in the camper, and it worked great. So we had a really nice time there. And then our final trip of the season was going to be to Elk Neck State Park in October, but COVID killed that trip. So that was 2020 from a camping perspective. Motorcycles, what did we do on the motorcycle rides? What did we hit?
The bridges, the covered bridges.
So in Berks County, there's 5 covered bridges. So we rode to all 5 of those bridges. We even have that set up as a playlist if you want to see them. So those were our motorcycle rides. Were primarily to the bridges of Berks County that are covered bird truss bridges. And from a boating perspective, we're going to continue to fish the little PolarKraft that we have, the 1460 Bay Shark 2. We'll also fish off the kayaks when we have the kayaks in there. And we will be working on the sailboat. So many of you have been following along on the Compac 16 revitalization. So we're at the point where we're about to take it apart and redo the stringers. Once we get that done, we can paint it, reassemble it, and then we're ready to sail. So look for those sailing videos in the spring, summer, depending on how long it takes us to rehab the boat. So that was 2020 in review. We did get 12 camping trips in, but we did not go where we originally planned. So we made plans for 2021. We'll see if we can execute them. So first thing we're going to try again in March is the boondock at Cabela's. So we're going to try that in March and just shake everything down, make sure everything works. And then in April, we rescheduled a trip that was canceled. What state park are we going to?
French Creek.
So French Creek State Park is maybe 25 miles from here. It's a really large state park, and we have a site with full hookup. So we're going to head down there in April, enjoy that park. I did do a review of French Creek State Park earlier, a couple years ago, but now we're going to take this camper down there. And then we're going to head to another state park that's a little further away, about 45 miles. Where are we headed?
Locust Lake State Park.
So Locust Lake State Park is north of here. It is water, I think it's water and electric. No, it's just modern. So modern in the state parks in Pennsylvania is considered a place you can put a camper with wheels and electric. So it's a modern site, which means we have electric, but we'll have to fill our water tank. And the site we have backs right up to Locust Lake. So if there's a little bit of warmth in the area, we'll probably take the kayaks with us and kayak on Locust Lake. So that'll be a trip in May that we're going to make. And then we have another rescheduled state park trip that we're going to take in June. What's the name of that state?
Gifford Pinchot.
So Gifford Pinchot State Park, I think it's in Lewisburg, south of here. It's about 80 miles, so maybe an hour and a half or so to get there. We have full hookups at that site, and there is a big lake there, so it'll be in June. We'll definitely have the kayaks with us, maybe the bicycles, maybe the motorcycle. And then we have another state park we're going to hit. This is a new one. We're going to head out in the middle of June to Laurel Hill State Park.
Okay.
That's in Somerset. So this is out near where Shannon went to college.
Oh, cool.
So we're southwestern Pennsylvania for this state park. We do have full hookups at this site, and we're going to be there for 4 days instead of 3 days because it does take almost 3.5 to 4 hours to get there. So we might extend in June depending on what our schedule looks like. We may dip down into West Virginia or something for a day. We'll have to see. In July, our July plans are not set yet. We do a lot of camping trips with that group I was telling you about, the Hoffmans, and they haven't set their schedule yet. But one of the places we know we're going is where?
Delaware.
So Delaware has some beautiful state parks. Not only do they have state parks on the water, they have a couple that are on lakes that are beautiful. So we want to get down to Delaware and experience their state park or state parks, depending on how we schedule those. So we want to do that in July, and depending on our schedule, we may sneak down to Copiapque State Park in Virginia. It's right on the tip of the Chesapeake Bay. So we'll have to see. Those plans aren't finalized yet. And then in August, we got a big trip planned. Mm-hmm. Where are we headed?
Destin, Florida.
So we're going to head to Destin, Florida. This will be without the camper. My daughter and her friends have rented a house and invited us to go along. So we're going to head down there, assuming COVID, is under control. And that'll be right on the water, so look for videos from Destin. We'll probably have some fishing videos, kayaking videos, some biking videos, and then September, we're going back to Ferryboat.
Yeah, cool.
So Ferryboat, we're going to go back there because we had such a great time. We'll probably do the longer kayaking trip, so that'll be a lot of fun, and we'll take the Ferryboat over to Millersburg and have lunch over there and see what that little town is like on the other side of the Susquehanna River. And then we'll wrap things up again in October and put her away. So normally I go down to Elk Neck State Park in October. We'll either do that or maybe hit a state park in Delaware in October. We're not quite sure yet on our October plans. And then in October I winterize it and put it away. That's it for our season. These are our potential plans as of right now for 2021, although they could always change as they have last year. And hopefully we'll be able to fill in a few more states on our map. So thanks for watching. We look forward to you following along with us on the channel. If you want to follow along with us, what could they do?
Subscribe.
And when you subscribe, if you ring that little bell next to the subscribe button, you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. And to also help us out, what could they do?
Of course, give us a thumbs up.
So thumbs up helps the analytics and the YouTube community be able to see more of our videos. It puts it in front of more people. So that helps us a lot. But more important than all that, go have some fun out there. Thanks for watching. Marie, what do you think of your fire pit?
Working.
We know the camping season's coming to an end when we fire up the pit at the house.
It only took 35 years to make it happen.
We paced ourselves on this one.
The Lazy K in Bechtelsville. No?
The Allentown KOA. And what campground did we stay at there?
That Mill Creek Bridge one. No?
That's like a Twin Grove. Twin Grove Camp Resort.
The Mill Bridge Camp Villa.
I told him what
Mill Bridge what?
Old Ridge Village Camp Resort. So where do we head, Marie?
Mill Bridge Camp Village Resort. No.
Millbridge Village Camp Resort.
Okay. Do it again.
You go ahead. I'll edit it in.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Where'd we go, Marie?
We went to the Mill Bridge Village. Too many words.
Millbridge Village Camp Resort.
Do it again.
Marie, where did we go at the end of July?
That was the one with the swings right on the water.
No.
No.
Lake in the Woods.
The lake.
Lake in the Woods.
The lake in the woods.
Okay.